Hello and welcome everybody to the Freedom, Health and Lifestyle live stream. And of course, you're here today with myself and Joey. And of course, this is Personal Development with a Lifestyle Plan, episode 20, Born Rich, part 1, week 2. Right? So obviously, like, subscribe, share. Now, I put a few, the workbook that Joey kindly sent last week is now in the description. So download that workbook and of course, follow along. I think that workbook is amazing, actually, Joe. Like, I had a look at it. But look, my name is Mick McQuillan, coming to you from Ireland, and I'm here with my good friend, Joey. Joey, say hello. You're muted, Joe.
I think I'm too excited. That's why. You just dive into the water without thinking, eh? My name is Joye Makaunga. I'm from Sydney, Australia. Very grateful. And Mike asked me before about how I was going, and I said to him, I'm better than I deserve, and I'm grateful every day, meeting new people, and try to make an impact and influence other people's life. It's give me a joy. And I believe this program, myself and Mike, is a way of paying forward for the community and also the mentor, the leadership that we have in our life. We want to pay it forward to those people and create a legacy that we live on. And if you will pay attention to our program, we will take you with us. And in saying that, it's funny because I remember a few years ago, I listened to a podcast and Jim Rohn said to the audience, if you pay attention, I'll take you with me. And at the end of his lecture and his training, he said, maybe after today, you won't learn anything. But when you go away, you remember something that we say and you implement that and you change your life. That's how we know that you you take us with you on your journey, and we take you with us. So hope this program will add value in some way. It's all about educating and understanding. So Mike, it's a pleasure, always a pleasure to be every Sunday with you, giving value and make an impact in the people's life.
To be honest, it is fun, Joe. I'm telling you. So what I'm going to do is we're going to jump straight in, Joe, to the You Were Born Rich, part 1. Now, last week, obviously, we had the introduction from Bob. And of course, he was talking about the comfort zone last week. And of course, the reason why you might want to do this, getting out of your comfort zone. And of course, education and different things like this. So if you missed last week, you can just go back and watch it. Of course, it's on Joey's Facebook. It's on my Facebook. And of course, it's on the YouTube channel, FHL YouTube channel. So you can find out, you can catch up, right? But download the workbook. But we're going to jump straight in. So, Joe, I just need to share my screen and we'll take a look. Let's have a look. So we're picking up with John Canary. Okay, so we're just going to hear John. I'm not sure, like this hour goes so quick, so I don't want to waste too much time. Right, let me share my screen and we'll get straight into it. Now, again, Joey, like last week, if an ad just pops up, I'm just going to let it kind of play. I'll just mute it and we'll go from there. Right, okay, let me see. I just want to change the view here. You can guarantee an ad will pop up straight away, right? Right.
On a real warm welcome as he come on and lead you through that. Anytime I start a seminar like this, I always like to start with the balls. And one of the reasons that I use this is because it's had such a dramatic impact on my own life. And I knew that this worked in a physical sense as I just took a look and stared at it, but I wasn't quite sure how it worked in every other sense. And I know many people that when they get an understanding of how this works, that if you put a little bit into life, you're only going to get a little bit out of life. In other words, if you want to spend a lot of time complaining about what's wrong in life,
if you want to make money online as an affiliate marketer, you may find this a little bit controversial, but we've stumbled across a way to earn reliable.
But the only thing you're ever going to find in your life. I like to put it another way. If you want to look at the scientific side of things, they'll say that for every action, there is an equal reaction in the opposite direction. If you want to go over to the other side to see what the theologian has to say or the philosophers, they'll tell you exactly the same thing. They'll say that as ye sow, so shall ye reap. And then there's a way that I kind of like to use it. And it works this way, that the only thing that can flow into your life or mine, whether it be in a financial sense, whether it be in your personal life, whether it be in your family life, one thing is for certain, that the only thing that can flow into your life is based on what's flowing out of your life. I know that any time that I have this sitting at home and some of my son's buddies will come by, he'll always take them over. They'll say, "What's this?" And he'll take it and he'll say, "Well, you see, what this means, if you put a little bit in, you get a little bit out. But if you put a whole lot in, you get a whole lot out. That's just the way it works." Now, you see, we can make what is called a conscious choice here today on what we're going to take out of this program. If you wanted to spend a little bit of time trying to find out why this program won't work, I guarantee you, you're going to find it. But there's only one reason you can ever find something wrong with anything. And that's because there must be something right with it. You see, you can't have one without the other. I mean, how would you know a good paycheck if you didn't know a bad paycheck? I mean, you can't have a hot without a cold. You can't have an up without a down, and in without an out. I mean, all the books we use here, if you look at the book Bob was using, Think and Grow Rich, it has an inside and an outside. It has back, has front. And you know, most interesting thing that I found about that is not too long ago, I was doing a seminar out in Calgary, and I was at a place called the Portical Inn. And you know, I was standing down in the basement there doing this seminar in a place like this, but there was fewer people. And at the back of the room, there was this beautiful, magnificent glass window. And as you looked through it, you could see the magnificence of the mountains. And all along the top of the mountains, you could see the beautiful snow-capped tops and the peaks. And the sun was just bouncing right off the top of those mountains. And I made an analogy quickly. I said, isn't it interesting that the only reason we can appreciate the magnificence of that mountain is because it is sitting in what is called a valley. Now, folks, everybody here today has the ability to do just one of three things. You have the ability to take anything that you're going to hear. I mean, as you sit there, you can take and gather all this information and you can completely reject it. You can do that. Or you can take all the information and you can neglect it. And that's what a lot of people do. They get it and they neglect it. Or you can take the information and you can accept it. Now, I'm going to make a suggestion to all of you. I want you to just sit there and really think about this. Don't accept what you hear. Don't reject what you hear. And please don't neglect what you hear. But you know, folks, only a fool would not take an idea, examine that idea, kick that idea around to see if it will change, see if it will alter, or see if it will improve the end result for a happier, healthier, more productive life. Now, I've always felt that, and I guess I've learned this over a number of years, that the biggest task that I have almost every day of my life is that I have to take an idea that I have and communicate that idea to another individual in a way that will enrich their life. And you could say that that's not the easiest thing in the world to do, but you know, it is simple. And I guess the best story that illustrates this goes something like this. There was a professor one time showed up at a university like this one, and he walked in the back door and all his colleagues grabbed him. He was at a convention. And they said, "Doctor, are we ever glad you're here?" He said, well, what's going on? I said, well, there's 500 people here and the guest speaker hasn't shown up. Said, and you've been announced as the guest speaker. Oh, now hold on a minute. He said, I'm not one to go out there and give a talk in front of all my colleagues. But he said, what's the subject? He said, that's the thing, you see. You're the only one that showed up without your spouse. That's why you're giving the talk. Well, he said, what is it? Said, the subject's on sex. Oh, no, not me. I'm not going up there in front of all those people who know me. No, just then his name was announced, and up he went. He got up and he stood behind that lectern there, and he just gave a 40-minute performance, just knocked your socks up. And after it was all over, got a standing ovation, away he went home, felt pretty good. He said, I should get on the circuit here. I know a lot of people like that. And he walked in the door, and his wife, Martha, greeted him there with a big hug and a kiss. And she said, well, dear, how'd the convention go? Said, well, dear, as a matter of fact, it was great. I was the guest speaker. Said, dear, you don't know anything about speaking. I knew that. They didn't know that. Went along great. Said, well, dear, what'd you talk about? Now, he's not a dumb guy, right? He said, honey, he said, I'll be up all night if I tell her. Oh, he said, honey, I talked about sailing. George, you don't know anything about sailing. Well, I knew that, and they didn't know that. And they seemed to like it. Well, off they went to bed. Now, the next day, Martha's out doing the shopping. And so are all the girls that were at the convention. Now, just to show you how two people are talking about who they think they're talking about the same thing, but in reality, they're not. They only think they are, but they have two different ideas. And they all spotted Martha, and they ran over and they said, Martha, we didn't know Charlie was such an authority on the subject. Oh, she said, girls, he isn't really the old fool. He only did it twice. And you know what? The first time, his hat fell off, and the second time, he fell over the side. Now, there were two people who thought they were talking about the same thing. Well, the idea that we're working with here today is to take an idea we have, transfer that idea to you as an individual. But there's only one way we can do that. Is you've got to kind of let go of the resistance. You got to hang a little bit loose because it is somewhat disturbing. Some of the information disturbs people sometimes. It really does. It actually does. There's a Bishop Sheen was giving a great talk every Sunday afternoon. And one Sunday afternoon, he was giving the talk, fellow put his hand up in the air and said, hold a minute, Bishop, you don't believe all that jazz, do you? Oh, he said, I believe it all. Said, come on, Bishop, you don't believe that story that Jonah was in the stomach of the whale? Ah, he said, I believe it, Bishop. Said, come on, Bishop, not Jonah in the stomach of the whale. Said, come on, you're a grown man. No, he said, I believe it. Said, well, tell me, Bishop, how are you going to prove it? Well, he said, I'll tell you what. When I get to heaven, I'll ask him. Say, yeah, but Bishop, what if you don't find him there? He said, then you can ask him. So you see, if you want to reject it, you want to neglect it, go ahead. I know the information works. On page 3, at the very top, the suggested use of this program, and you know, Bob mentioned earlier that I've actually
every single trader that's taken the FTMO challenge using my...
All right, Joe. So, give us your thoughts quickly on what we're just watching at the moment. What do you like? Obviously, what John is doing is he's talking about how to use this program. You know, so give us your thoughts, Joe.
I just want to show you what I bought. Look at this.
What's that? Oh, look at that. To be honest, I thought that was interesting what he was talking about in the beginning, actually.
Oh, very.
You know, your flow out is based on your flow in.
Absolutely.
You know? So, and of course, Bob talks about that, and I'm sure he'll get to it, about energy flowing in. And in fact, it's in the next part, actually, where he talks about energy flowing in, into your, your brain, your thoughts, your mind, or whatever. And it's not negative or positive until you make it negative or positive. But look, he's going to get into that. But I suppose John's just touching on that now. Told a few funny stories there, which were pretty good. But he's just setting us up for how to use this course.
Absolutely. And he said, with any ideas, just don't accept it and or just neglect it or reject it. Take a look at it with open mind, because if you really dig into it, you will get out what you put it into it. If you if with anything, and you use science and religion to prove that. In science, it said for every action, there is an opposite reaction. And if we go to religion, it's whatever you sow, you will reap. If you sow good things in life, it will you will expect to reap good things in life. If you sow a good seed, don't expect some people said I grow banana, but I got bobo, or papaya. So it's whatever you grow or whatever you planted, you planted seed and you expect what you plant. So
it's a good point. And I think you mentioned Jim Rome earlier on, and we should maybe look at some of his stuff at a future date. But he talked about like don't plant you don't plant an apple seed and expect to get a pear tree. Do you know what I mean? You're going to get an apple tree, So yeah, no, you're absolutely right. All right, let's get back into this, Joe.
Made him work. As a matter of fact, I can remember when I first picked up the information from this program. I believe it was Earl Nightingale's Lead the Field. And I was given a suggested use of how to use that program, which took 5 minutes. Bob was working with Nightingale at that time. I wasn't. And he sold me a program for $245. That was back in 1968. That was a lot of money in 1968. That's a lot of money today for a lot of people. And he said, now here's what you do. You take this tape, put it in your cassette player. I didn't have one of those. And he said, what you do is turn the cassette on, because it wasn't a popular thing in cars. But he said, you listen to the first tape all week, then go to the second one and listen to that all week. That was the suggested use of the program at that time. So you see, I watched this program grow up. Not only grow up, but I've been able to take it and maximize it more than any individual I know that has ever gone through this seminar. And I can say that, and I can say it with conviction. I can say it with commitment. So let me just walk you through a couple of steps. Born Rich is the beginning of an exciting journey you're about to take. And like all journeys, which are properly planned and completely enjoyed, you must have these 4 basic points. You got to work these 4 basic points. See, it's the old idea that there are 2 simple words that we could implement to really get the results we want. The first one is called order. Order. Order is the very first law of creation. And the second word is movement. And when you have order and movement working in your life, what begins to happen is there's a pattern of growth that begins to develop. You see, I think that we try to get here without first covering or bridging the gap of these steps along the way. So if we have the order, and the order is to make a decision that no matter where I am, no matter how well I am doing, I can do better, and I'm going to set an objective to bring about that order. And then we use the movement, which is known as a system, and I believe that Born Rich is a system. I don't believe it, I know it. You only have to believe something till you understand it, then you don't have to believe it anymore. But belief is the fuel to get you off the ground. So the first step, a clear understanding of where the journey begins. A very clear understanding of where the journey begins, and I don't know anybody that'll do that more effectively than Robert when he comes back up to start going through the basic concept and the creative process. Number 2, checkpoints en route to help you stay on course. You see, I believe we know, for the most part, a lot of us what we want. And as Napoleon Hill said time and time again in this great book, he said, you must know what you want, why you want it, when you want it, and an idea on how you're going to get it. You must know what you want. You must know why you want it. You must know, he said, when you want it. And he said, you must have an idea on how you're going to get it. So we need checkpoints en route to help us stay on course. Number 3, a clear understanding of your destination. I believe one of the greatest definitions that I've ever heard of success in my life is that success is not a destination, never has been, but it is something called a journey. It has always been what is called a journey. It is not something you get. It is something you're becoming. It never ends. It's infinite in terms of growth. And number 4, a commitment. You know, I've spent a lot of time studying, as everyone else, books such as In Search of Excellence, In Pursuit of Excellence. I know when I look at Paul Hutsey, I think a lot about excellence. And you know, excellence is perhaps one of the most important words in your life. But one of the reasons for that is because Paul knew about excellence 20 years ago. His company, they published something called In Search of Excellence and The Pursuit of Excellence. But what does the word mean? I hear people say excellence in this, excellence in that. What does the word mean to you? Well, I'm going to tell you what the word really means. It means a commitment to completion. Folks, you never, ever want to forget that. Excellence is simply a commitment to completion. The steps are not easy, but the understanding of the steps are easy. If you remember, it's a commitment to completion. That means completing the things around home. It means completing the things at your work. It means completing the commitments in your personal life. It's a commitment to completion. You will agree a person would be very foolish to tell themselves they are presently in Atlanta, Georgia, and their destination is Dallas. If, in fact, they were actually in Calgary, Alberta, with Dallas, Texas as their destination. Do you know how many people that are trying to set a goal, they don't know where they're at, consequently, they don't know how to get there? Unbelievable as this may seem, this is the classical error millions of people make philosophically with their lives. They are not completely honest with themselves when it comes to recognizing where they presently are. Where they presently are. Honest answers to every question and serious consideration to every exercise and suggestion will clearly indicate 3 points. And this is what this program is about, is these 3 points. Where your journey begins. That's number 1. Number 2, the mental adjustments that must be made. The mental adjustments that must be made. Let me give you an example. Anytime working with a young person, I just love working with young people. They only have to understand what a mental adjustment is, and they'll make it quicker than you and I. Are you aware that your kids, they only have to what is called make up their mind. You and I have to change our mind. We can teach them how to make a mental adjustment, and here is the major mental adjustment that all of us have to make. Simple one. You must regard all adversity. You must regard all circumstance, all conditions in your life. If you could look at it as though it were an investment in which you can attract and learn more about growth in your life. It's an investment only. What a difference we'd find in everything that we do. And number 3, approximate time it will take to complete the journey. The approximate time it will take to complete the journey. Now, before you become immersed in your Born Rich program, form the attitude that this program has been prepared especially for you. This is for you. This is not for me. It's just not for me only. It's not for Bob. It's for you, especially prepared for you. Imagine that the author, that the speaker is a clear personal friend whom you have chosen as your mentor. I wonder how many of us have a mentor. I always say when a program ends, it's the beginning. It really is. It says, make a commitment to yourself that you will follow every instruction necessary to alter. And you're going to hear this word so often, to alter your old conditioning. Now, I want you to think, what is old conditioning? You know, any time that you get these buried pain remembrances, these nagging little things that grab us when we're trying to do something, or that tell us we can't do it, why we can't do it, and all these things that are just kind of like grabbing at us, these doubts and worries, that's your conditioning. You know, I'd give anything if a person would just grab hold of one idea, this one simple idea. Anytime that you get feedback telling you why you can't do something, if only, folks, you could remember it's not.
As a small business owner, we know you can't just.
So, Joey, to be honest, like he's setting it up quite well, right? You know, so look, if you're watching on the replay, or just let us know your comments. But of course, download the workbook. The link is in the description for that. And if you missed part one, just go back and watch it. But what John's doing is he's setting us up, for Bob to come back and really start this course. I just think it's, there's so much in what he's doing and what he's saying. Do you know what I mean? From, not neglecting the idea, not, accepting it, all of this kind of stuff, to talking about success, being a journey, and it's something that you become, and an idea on how to get it, the what, why, when, all of that kind of stuff. Like, if you've not seen this content before, this is really worth studying, because this stuff can change your life, Joe, right? It really, really can. There's no doubt that it can. What do you think?
Yeah, and he emphasized we have to commit, make a decision to commit to complete the journey. And but it has to start with in the way we think, what we really want, because a lot of people doesn't know what they really want in life, and those people didn't know why they need something, why they want something in life, and also when they want it, or what ideas, or a gift or blessing that they will able to take action to achieve what they want in life. And it's all about when you have the understanding that you have to start from your thinking of what you want, when do you want it, and how do you get what you want, and then you make a committed decision to complete that journey. Because when you do that, I think you and I understand the success is not a destination, it's a journey. And a lot of things that we learn along the way, that help us to become who we really want, to get what we want in life. You have to become, like they said, if you want to become successful, you have to start thinking success. Talk to yourself, I'm a successful person. Look left and right, tell yourself, I am being blessed, I've been put here in this world, not to make up the numbers, but to make a difference and become a successful person.
It's good advice, Joe. If I didn't know better, I'd think that you were somebody's mentor, right? Yeah. Now, Joey and I do have a mentor, and we will get to that just in a minute. And of course, now is probably a good time just to watch a couple of these quick little videos. We'll just take a quick break here. I'll be back in a second.
Thank you.
So, Joe, just quickly, obviously, John Canary was talking about mentors and maybe how many people don't have a mentor in their life. Now, of course, obviously we're watching John Canary and Bob Proctor and the Born Rich Remastered seminar, but of course one of our mentors is Linda Proctor, Bob's wife. And of course, you can find out more about Linda by going to the msilifestylers.academy. I'll put that link up there so that people can see it. And of course, you can learn more about what we do, how we do it, and of course, what works really, really well. And of course, the question that Linda's asking here is, what do you really want? So I would recommend that you go to this website, the MSI Lifestylers Academy. Link is in the description and it's on your screen right now. Watch this short video, and again, you'll get to see Bob here. This is the Opportunity, a live video, great video put together. And then, of course, download this little black book that you can see here. And of course, scroll to download the little black book. All you need to do is put in your name, your best email, and type Mike or Joey and Mike or Mick in the description here, and click and download your little black book. Now, this is a great little video here at the end. It's worth a read. Now, when you watch this video all the way to the end, okay, I'm just going to show it here. I'm not going to play it, but when you watch it all the way to the end, there's a little link that comes up.
Whole new world that awaits you.
Okay, and there's a little link that comes up where you can actually join the Facebook group here by clicking join the Facebook group to find out more about what we do, how we do it, and of course what you can expect by joining this amazing community. And it is an amazing community, Joey, right?
Yep. And I think Mike, you and I are we choose the pathway of become an entrepreneur. We decided that to become more in life, we have to bring the best out of us. And we found an entrepreneur, we have a vehicle that we use to make an impact and change people's life, to own their life. We mean, when we helping people to own their life, we look at the time, money and health. And we have a great vehicle, and that vehicle we can, maybe one day we'll go deep into it. It's, we need people to know how to drive the vehicle, because it's a vehicle, and it's a great vehicle. And for everyone to start driving our vehicle, we need time with them to train them. And this community have the video, the leadership, the training, and we have training every week now, every Monday, which is Tuesday here, that explain better about the vehicle that we have, and how can we help people to drive that vehicle to enable them to own their life, live a freedom, with time, money, and health.
Do you know, it's funny, Joe, because you're talking about a vehicle, and when you're learning to drive, you don't just get in the car and start to drive. You have a mentor or a tutor. You have somebody with you to teach you how to do it. And our business is a lot like that, where you have a mentor, somebody who's a little bit further down the road than you are, who's a bit more experienced, who knows what works and what works well, and can show you the ropes, right? That can show you all the things that you need to be doing in order to become successful. And one of those things is education, is growth, is personal growth, expanding your mind. And I think John, and we'll get back to John in just a minute, he was talking about belief. You've got to have belief. You've got to start with belief until you believe it, and the funny thing is, it does take a certain amount of belief to do anything. You have to believe you can do it first, and what was Bob talking about last week? Do the thing and you'll get the energy to do the thing, I think you mentioned that as one of your quotes from last week. So listen, let's, have you got any more, or should we just get back to it?
Yeah, we'll get back to it, but I just want to add on, you're so right with the belief. And, when we invite you to come along with our journey, to take a look at what we have and the community we have, because we believe in people. And for people to believe in themselves, it takes time, take effort, and take skill, to develop. And we are here. We have leaders, mentors, and you and I, Mike, have go through that pathway, and we build our belief up. And when we believe in ourselves, we have the courage, the bolster, the confidence that whoever will want to take a look at our vehicle and in the environment that we surround ourselves with, we'll be able to make them believe first in themselves, and then believe they can do anything they put their mind on.
Absolutely, Joe. And there's no doubt. Look, this is personal growth, and that's why this course, and that's why Joey and I are going through this course again. I suspect that I've watched it a couple of times. I bet Joey, you've watched it a couple of times too already. But it's worth doing it. And sometimes after watching it, I would recommend you go back and watch it again, because you're going to hear different stuff. Like when Bob, I don't know, did he talk about building brain cells yet? I don't think. Did he talk about that before with the brain cells? I don't think he did. No, I think that's coming up. But like you watch it once, and some of it goes over your head. You watch it a second time, and it becomes more clear, and you hear more different things. This is definitely worth your time. Absolutely worth your time. Just from a personal point of view, it's going to help you in so many different ways. One, just being able to communicate better with yourself, which is going to lead to all kinds of different opportunities, in your relationships and different things like this. So, it's worth it just from the point of view of better communication. It's just worth it from that. All right, let's get back to it, Joe, because, I could talk about this stuff all day. It's just so much fun.
Absolutely.
Oh, am I muting? I am. Hold on.
Of your conditioning. I'd give anything for a person just to understand that. When you get that old feeling that you can't do something, you can only remember it's a reflection of your conditioning and not a reflection of your potential. Now, I want you to think about this. Everybody is familiar with the great Bruce Lee, perhaps the greatest martial artist that ever lived. And he was also a great teacher. And very often they'd come to him and they'd say, "Could you tell us, Master, how we could be a great martial artist like you?" Now, he would take them out into a little gym and he would go through some of his moves. And what he was doing is he was trying to find out where they are. Because he said most people had the wrong information about martial arts. Just like many people have the wrong information about this word, success. This word success, this progressive realization of a worthy ideal. And after he'd take them through the little exam, he would sit down at a table, he'd put them on one end. He'd sit on the other end. And he'd put in front of them a glass of Coke. He'd say, "I want you to look at that and let it represent." Think about it now. He said, "I want you to let this glass of Coke represent your knowledge. This is what you know to be the truth." And he said, "I want you to let this clear water represent what is the truth. This is my knowledge. This is what I've learned." And he said, "This is what you want from me. This is what you want." I want you to think about one step here. How often have we looked into the lives of other people and we see things that we truly admire? We look at maybe their person, what I'd give to be like that individual. We look at what they have and we say, what I would give to have what they have. We look at what they do and we say, what I would give to do what they do. Folks, if we only knew, what we're looking at are nothing more but our own rejected thoughts. They accepted thoughts that we have rejected. So this is what Bruce said. I can't give you my knowledge because, you see, there's too much of yours. However, he said, if you are prepared to let go of yours and make room for mine, then we can work together. But as long as you hold on to this, I can't give you this. Think about it. Are you prepared to let go of what you've learned? And by that, I don't mean to just cast it aside, but to examine it. And to take a new idea that you will hear in 2 days here. A new idea. And to examine that idea, entertain that idea, to see if it will change, alter, and or improve the end result for a happier, healthier, more prosperous life. If you're prepared to do that, this program will really, really work for you. Will really work for you. Would you go back to the book with me, please? Second last paragraph. Rather than merely listening to the messages, questions, and exercises, think. Think deep, penetrating thoughts. Ask yourself, what does this mean to me? How can I apply this idea to my life? Remember, not how can I apply it to someone else's life. How can I apply this idea to personal growth and development in my life? Because the simple basic laws of life are create or disintegrate. We're either moving forward or we're going backwards. And the last paragraph, set aside a definite period of time every day, weekends and holidays included, for the proper use of your Born Rich program. In other words, make a decision. See, folks, we don't have as many problems as we have decisions to make. By that, I'm not asking or suggesting that you should discount your problems. I would never suggest that. But, you know, I am suggesting that you have the talent, the ability, the potential to handle and to deal with your problems. So do we have as many problems as we have decisions to make? It says, for the proper use of your Born Rich program, you must set aside different times to work with it. You eat every day to nourish your body. Look at your Born Rich program as a form of healthy nourishment for your marvelous mind, and use it daily until its use becomes habitual. Until its use becomes habitual. Now, in 2 minutes, I'm going to bring Bob up to go through the basic concept, which is the real star of this program, is what you're going to see on the board. It's what it's all about. The first time I was introduced to this concept, believe me, it hit me. I had such impact on me. Didn't change anything right away, but it showed me a way to do it. In 1973, I had something written on a goal card. And on that goal card, there was something very interesting. I said, on March the 1st, 1973, what I wanted to do was this very program. Now, at that time, I could not lead this group, you could say, in silent prayer. I could not have led this group in silent prayer. Could not. But I wrote on it that March the 1st, this is what I was going to do. Now, when February the 28th rolled around, now I tell you this for your benefit, not mine, for your benefit, because someone sitting here today is probably thinking exactly what I was thinking, but maybe in a different area. I had absolutely no credentials to do this. None. Absolutely none. And for 4 years prior, wherever Robert was doing a seminar, I'd be there. Paul Hutsey knows that.
Not long ago, Rita Levi-Montalcini
fly wherever he'd fly. I'd go wherever he was, and I'd sit in the front row. I have at home maybe a couple of thousand workbooks from seminars. A couple of thousand. Notes all through them. Some of them can't even read them anymore. Now, on February the 28th, after 4 to 5 years of a lot of pain, and there was, 4 to 5 years of a lot of traveling, and there was, a whole lot. There was a lot of things. You know what really happened? On February the 28th, I was no closer to the goal. Now remember, it was 1 day away. 1 day away. I was no closer to the goal. After 5 years. Kind of disheartening and discouraging, isn't it? So this is what happened. I got a phone call from Chicago. It was Robert on February the 28th, 1973. And he said, John, I got some bad news for you. I can't get to Toronto. Chicago is closed. He said, you're going to have to do the seminar in the morning. Now, here it was. It's what I always wanted to do. And the first thing that hit me was fear, panic. And I remember giving him a gold card. And he said, you obviously had something to do with the Chicago airport closing. But to the day, it worked. Even though all the appearances said it wouldn't work. But you know what? I made a decision. This was my knowledge. This was his. I had to get rid of mine to get his. That's what you're going to have to do. Today and tomorrow. So what do you say we bring Robert back up for the remainder of the morning to really get this creative process rolling? Bob? So what do you say we bring Robert back up for the remainder of the morning to really get this creative process rolling? Bob?
All right, Joe, I want to hear your thoughts.
I like the teaching that by Bruce Lee, and I think John remind me of something that in the book of You Were Born Rich that Bob talked about. You have to create a vacuum for the good that you deserve. You know, we all have some something with us. You know that we already our life is compared to what they the Coca-Cola glass and the glass of water. And, to get something in life, we have to empty something in ourselves to be able to, to get the good that we deserve. And I think Bob talked about create a vacuum for the good that you deserve. And he used the example of, and John used the example of the two glass of water, well, the water and the Coca-Cola water. So to get something of goodness, you have to empty what you currently know. And some people in our professional, they said you have to learn to unlearn and relearn again. And I think it's very important in our journey, in our life. If we want to get some help, you have to empty something that you already have to able for the other party to, or your mentor or your coaches to refill you with something that
He talked about, well, he touched on pain, and I thought that was really interesting, because I think there are growing pains, and just exactly like you're talking about, there, you have to let some stuff go. You have to, you start to question your own beliefs, or what you think is possible, or what you believe about yourself, or, so there is pain, there's growing pains, because you're challenging yourself all of the time. Like there's stuff that I hear and I and it's a wake up call for me, Joe. So there's no doubt that this is challenging. And he did talk about that earlier. He talked about at the beginning when he was saying, look, this stuff can be challenging for people. I can't remember the exact words that he used. That can be, what was the word that he say? Like, obviously people can be shocked by this stuff, because, and Bob's going to get into this stuff deep now. Do you know what I mean? Like, we haven't got time to get into Bob. We're going to have to do that next week. I think we could do this for like 6 or 7 hours, Joe, to tell you the truth. We could spend all night doing this. Do you know what I mean? Like, It's just so, but I would, look, if you're watching live or you're watching on the replay, watch it again, right? Watch it again. Go back and watch part 1 again, watch part 2, and do as John was suggesting, is listen to this. The link is in the description for the whole series, but, listen to part 1, listen to it all week, download the workbook and, start taking down some of these ideas. And Bob's going to get into these ideas next week, where it talks about the conscious versus the subconscious mind and, all of these types of things. It's going to get really deep now next week, Joe. We're in big trouble, boy.
Yes, it's going to be very deep. And, you need to come with a lot of focus and attention next week, because something that you will hear in the teaching that Bob will perform, will open your mind a lot, because, and I can give you a little bit of that, I think when they talk about the mind in the old days before I haven't exposed to this material, it's all about our brain. But it's not. But it's next week we will go deep into it, and I think repetition is the mother of all learning. And John encouraged it. If you go through, like Mike said, you have the resource 3. You can look at it, rewind, pause, study, and repeat it. Listen to it first time. Go in again, because I share one of Bob's quote. If you read a good book for the second time, you don't see something that you didn't see before, but you see something in yourself that you didn't see before. So it's so true, so powerful. And he said, use it daily until it become a habitual. It's very important. When it's become a habitual, that's how you understand it. You never forget it. And every now and then it's become reflect in the way you talk, the way you share with other people, the way you want to help other people. Those material can change life. And we start with a video today, Mike, that he said, we believe that transformation is for everyone. And if you exposed to this material, study, learn it, repeat it, rinse, repeat it, plan to review, you will transform your life, not only yourself, but the people that come in contact with you.
Beautiful, Joey. Now, of course, look, I'm going to do a really, what would you call it? I'm just going to plug what we do, right? So, look, we want you to join us on the IsaBody Challenge. Okay, so what is the IsaBody Challenge? Well, it's about looking better. It's about looking and feeling the best that you felt in a decade. Looking better, feeling better, eating better, moving better, and of course, doing better. We're going to get into all of those things, as this goes on. But the link is in the description to download your Freedom, Health, and Lifestyle goal sheet, okay? And of course, we want to tie that into an event. So definitely you want to do these things. And then reach out to either myself or Joey. Again, links are in the description. Joey's email is just passing across the bottom of the page now. And of course, reach out to Joey. Joey is, probably one of the best mentors that I've come across. And he's very, very deliberate in trying to help you to get what it is that you want, whatever that is. It's not Joey's goal, it's your goal. Whatever it is you want, you can have. And of course, Joey and I are here to help. My email is also running across the bottom of the screen if you want to reach out to me. Certainly if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, you want to speak to Joey because he's going to be on the same maybe timeline as you. Not in all cases, but in most. But I don't think Joey ever sleeps, to be honest. He's up all the time. But anyway, look, we want you to join us. Reach out to myself or reach out to Joey. Links are in the description. And of course, we want you to join the 16-week challenge. And the 16-week challenge is really about looking better, feeling better, eating better, moving better, and of course, then doing better. And this is really, really important for you. And for us too, Joey and I are doing it. I just started my next 16-week challenge, Joey. I just registered for it yesterday. Super excited about it. I still think I was driving around the other day thinking about, I've got to get myself in shape so I can beat Joey at tennis. Look at you shaking your head. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm telling you, I forgot about that. So, I'm looking forward to it. But look, let's just look at a blatant plug for what we do. And again, it's not about us. It is about you. Okay. Look, you didn't get where you were overnight, and you're not going to get to where you want to be overnight. It is a journey, and success is a journey. Do you know? And it's about becoming the person that you want to be. And of course, that starts from in here, from inside first. And like John says, you've got to believe it. You've got to believe it to be true. And of course, look, I know Joey is an expert at that. And, I'm, constantly thinking and feeling about the outcome, so every action that you want to try and perform. In fact, to be honest, I was on a call with Heather the other day, and one of her mentors, a guy called Peter Carroll, nice guy, really, really nice guy. And he was saying when it comes to weight management or weight loss, you've got to eat with the end in mind, and that can be the same for anything that you're working on. The action that you take wants to be with the end in mind, whatever that goal is. And goals are important, but what you need is also accountability. Somebody like Joey who can be there to help you, to encourage you, to support you until you have that belief in yourself. We were talking about belief, right? And belief is actually the enemy of knowing. What do you know? And this is where this course, this Born Rich course, is going to help, to put you in a position of knowing, because, like you can believe something to be true, and the truth is maybe it isn't true at all. It's a program. It's a program that you've been programmed with. To be honest, we want to break free of those things. We want to break free of those shackles. And what we truly want is, freedom, health, and lifestyle with purpose. That's really what it's all about, Joe. And you're doing that. You're living that. And I'm loving it. All right, Joe, listen, go on. Give us all of your best. And then we'll play out with our favorite Bob Proctor video.
Mike, I just want to say that you are so kind, and I'm humbled by your kind words, and I have to give it back to you. You are not only a good friend, you're a great mentor and a leader. You're one of the people that I want to surround myself with. Because you are genuine. You want to make an impact in the world and help other people. And I think every day I'm blessed to have you as a friend and a great accountability partner. And we're doing this, for the impact of the world and, whoever come in contact with us. So, when you surround yourself with the right people, the people that they want to serve you and, come every time you come in contact, they always want to make an impact or influence or help from a place of serving. And I think you and I, that's what we're doing. I know a lot of people might be thinking maybe you guys are wasting your time, but we don't think that way, because, we know that one day the seed that we're planting today will become an apple, and the apple will bear fruit. And whoever, under that apple or live under or near that apple will be able to, harvest the good from that. So I'm grateful. Tonight is a great session, and also great wisdom and knowledge from John and Bob. Again, God bless him. But study it, read it, and apply it. If you don't apply it, this material won't be. You don't do you like doing a disservice for the mentor, for the resources. You have to apply it. You have to pay it forward for whoever come in contact with, and we believe that this material will transform life, and that's why we are here every Sunday night to pay it forward. Thank you, Mike.
You see, we are created in a magnificent vibration, in an absolutely magnificent vibration. Born risk takers. Free. That conditioning takes place after birth. You can change it. It takes guts. It takes goals. Now, do you know something? You're sitting there watching this and you're thinking, my God, I'm going to change something. I always say, keep reminding yourself that you have tremendous reservoirs of potential within you, and therefore you are quite capable of doing anything you set your mind to. You really can. I don't care what the cynics tell you. Quit listening to some of your peers. Now, all you must do is figure out how you can do it, not whether you can or not. When are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? You've got to create a sense of urgency. I'm going to do it right now.
If you can see it, you can do it. But the beautiful truth is you can do anything. We got to know there is a place. There is a specific frequency. And if you get on that frequency, you're going to attract what you need to you. This is what it's all about. Why have you been endowed with such awesome powers? If you'll make a committed decision, this I'm going to do. And you don't have to know how. You do not have to know how. The second you make the committed decision, you flip your brain onto the frequency that you have to be on to attract what you have to attract to manifest the thing that you want. If you can see it, you can do it. It's got to be something you want. Wants come from inside. Act like you're already there. Walk, talk, speak, live like you're already there. Don't set a small goal. Don't set something that doesn't really wind your stem. Set it so big it jazzes you. It really gets you going. When something of a very high nature resonates with the very high side of you, you'll know it. You'll know it. You will feel it. Feeling is conscious awareness of vibration. The only prerequisite, do you want it? Not do you need it, not could you do it. The only prerequisite is, do you want it? Take the lid off your marvelous mind and dream. For goodness sake, give yourself the right to do that. Get your analytical mind out of the way. Put it in your pocket for a while. All you're doing is exploring, daydreaming. What did Lawrence say? All men dream, but not equally. Those who dream by night in the dusty recesses of their mind wakened the day to find that it was vanity. But the dreamers of the day are dangerous men, for they may act their dream with open eyes to make it possible. This I did.